This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boatyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Try the John Bain sandwich on your next visit. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. CW Tree Trimming, LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area, and we offer a senior citizen and veteran discount.
Iowa Technology Systems of Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Managed IT, including software and hardware navigation needs. No job is too small. iowatechsys.com. If you are someone having trouble with your PC or laptop, or a demanding business, you can be our next happy customer in Mount Pleasant.
Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs. They even have a conference room that you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. It's Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, and the Washington Chamber of Commerce held the Washington, Iowa Candidate Forum here at the Washington Public Library in the Nicola-Stoufer Room. Uncontested candidates from the city of Washington had a chance to introduce themselves at the top of the event. Contested candidates, City Council Ward 4, Fran Stigers and Susan Carroll, City Council at Large, Elaine Moore, Steve Howard, and Doug Hoyle, answered prepared questions as well as questions from the public. Tonight's candidate forum was hosted by Executive Director of the Washington Chamber, Michelle Redlinger. Here it is.
Welcome to the 2025 Washington Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum, live from the Washington Public Library, on the one to count on for today's news and local information, KCII. Tonight's event features candidates for City Council Ward 4 and at-large seats. We now join the forum, moderated by Washington Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, Michelle Redlinger.
Well, I loved that introduction here. So thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Michelle Redlinger, and I am the director of the Washington Chambers. It's our honor and privilege to host tonight's candidate forum for the upcoming seats at the Washington City Council. I'd like to begin with a few housekeeping items. So first of all, tonight's forum is being broadcast live thanks to our media partners. So I'd like to thank KCII Radio, the Southeast Iowa Union, who's broadcasting live on the Southeast Iowa Video Network, and we have John Bain joining us with Southeast Iowa Today. So also worth noting, we have a lot of microphones up here, but these are for our media partners. So if you are in the back and you're having a hard time hearing, if you want to just give me like a thumbs up, I'll know that it's not like me doing a great job, but maybe we need to raise the volume a little bit, or you're welcome to scoot forward. I know the front seats are always vacant, but we'd love you to sit up closer so everyone can hear. The Washington Chamber is a nonpartisan organization. We encourage legislative action that promotes business growth, local economy, strong communities, but we are nonpartisan and we don't endorse any candidate. This is also a nonpartisan forum at the moment, and so we are grateful for all of the respectful questions that you'll get to ask our candidates here in the later part of our forum. The way tonight's event will go is we will begin hearing some information about the vote from our county auditor. Then our uncontested candidates will come up and have an opportunity to introduce themselves. And then we'll go into the question and answer portion of the event for those who are running in contested races. The first part will be answering questions that we've given the candidates in advance. Then we will take a short break and collect the questions from our audience, and we'll try to combine and ask as many questions that we have time for, and then we'll come back and we'll allow our candidates to then answer questions from the community. So if you've not received a pen and a note card, please see our fabulous volunteer, Jeannie Davis, in the corner. She will make sure that you have that. And then otherwise, now would be an excellent time to silence your phones if you've not already done so. And restrooms are around the corner. And at this time, I'd like to welcome our Washington County Auditor, Tammy Stewart, to tell us a little bit more about the upcoming election.
Thank you. First of all, Michelle's a much better speaker than I am. Like she said, I am Tammy Stewart. I'm the Washington County Auditor. I just took office this year, so somewhat a new process for me. But that said, I'm here just to give you some important date information, some polling location information for this November 4th election. With the election being November 4th, our office is taking absentee voting now until close of day on Monday, November 3rd. So we will take that until 4:30 on that day. The deadline for mailing out ballots to people who requested has passed. That date passed on the 20th, as well as the pre-registration date. So anybody who's needing to register, which I assume most of you here are probably here because you want to vote and are active voting, but anybody that you know that does still need to register to vote, they can do that in our office or at the polls on election day. But they will need to provide proof of ID as well as proof of residency and sign an oath that what they're telling the poll workers or our office staff is valid. Date-wise, that's about all that's coming up. The state's really shortened our time frame with most things that normally come up. They've all ended on the 20th of this month, so pretty much what's left is just that absentee voting and election day registration times. This being city school election, we usually have a smaller turnout than a general, so we combine some of the polling locations. And for Washington, wards 1 and 2, which Ward 1 was always the Y, or recently the Y. Ward 2 was First Assembly. So if you voted at any of those places in previous elections, you will vote at the Y this year for this election. Wards 3 and 4, which were previously the UP home and the fairgrounds most recently, you will both vote at the UP home this year for the elections. Polling hours are 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I think that's, unless anyone has any questions on the dates or polling locations, I think that's really all I have. Thank you very much, and that's all I have before the candidates start. Thank you, Michelle.
Mm-hmm. Tammy did great on your first event.
I'm a bit underdressed and I'm dealing with a broken water heater all day. Either that or I'll be late.
We wear many hats in a small community, so understandable. Okay, at this time, we will hear an introduction and a little information from our uncontested candidates. And I'd like to invite our current mayor, Millie Youngquist, to the podium as she is running again.
Well, thank you, Michelle, and thank you all for being here. It's very encouraging to see the room very full. So I hope you all have gained some information tonight and that you have some questions to ask. I feel, well, and again, I really want to thank our sponsors and KCII, Southeast Iowa Union, the Chamber and the county for your support. Partners are so important in our business with the city, so that's very important. I know a lot of you out there, so maybe some of this information you already know about me, but I am a Washington native, and our family has lived in Washington County for over 150 years, and I've lived here most of my adult life. I'm married. My husband is a former music teacher, and we have 2 grown daughters and 2 granddaughters. And I graduated from high school, went on to college, got a degree, and taught vocal music at the Waco schools for 35 years. Upon retiring, I wasn't ready to just sit in my rocking chair and twiddle my thumbs, so I got involved in the community, and I'll have to kind of blame Michelle because she was the one that asked me to co-chair Washington's 175th celebration. This has been, what, 11 years ago? And that kind of reawakened my interest in Washington and realized what we have as a community. And we have so many wonderful things, and I wanted just to be a part of seeing that work that other people had started would continue. So I ran for city council, and I've served on city council for 8 years, a stint as mayor pro tem for 15 months, and then I was elected mayor in elections at the end of April in 2024, and I've been your mayor ever since, and I thank you for your support. There have been several things that I wanted to emphasize. One was to support and enhance infrastructure. We are now working on the South 12th Spotlight and intersection. That's been in the works for several years. We resurfaced South Avenue B. We're working on downtown sidewalk improvements, and we're working on a city parks master plan. All of those things have been happening in the last couple years. I've tried to improve communications. I've established regular office hours at City Hall. I attend staff meetings and get to know the staff and understand what they do and what their challenges and problems are. I've done radio interviews on a regular basis with KCII, talking about city things. Also, one goal was to improve services and amenities. We have now a community service officer that's handling nuisance complaints, and with the power of his uniform and going around, he has been doing a really good job in working with people to clean up their properties, mow their yards, pull the weeds, etc. This has been the year of the bathrooms. We have a new bathroom in Central Park, and we have a new bathroom in the Wellness Park. And there are new restrooms at the fairgrounds, which the Hotel Motel Committee did contribute some money to. So the city had a little bit of a hand in all of those projects. I'm committed to ensure that Washington residents receive the best possible services with the tax dollars that are given us. No one can make everybody happy all of the time, but I promise to listen to all sides. I like to, ever since I've been on city council, I have the analogy of a city being, you've seen the Chinese acrobats spinning the plates, they get many plates going. Well, every department in the city is spinning a plate, and sometimes something drops or breaks, but the job of the city is to keep everything going and try to make things work out successfully. I am committed to help our community honor its past. We have a wonderful past. Celebrate its present, and we have so much going on for us today. and embrace its future. And we have a great potential here in Washington. So I humbly ask for your vote and would welcome any comments or suggestions that you have for me. So thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Mayor Youngquist. All right, I'd like to invite Jennine Wolf up to the podium as she is running for City Council, Ward 2.
Hi, my name is Jennine Wolf. I've lived in Washington since about 1993. I retired from the environmental department. For 13 years I was a food inspector, and the last 8 years I was the director of the department. Retired in 2021, and I am a part-time secretary at the Methodist Church now, and been enjoying life with my daughter, my 3 grandkids, and my 5 great-grands. I am looking forward to being on the city council. I've never really got into this area of things, and I am really looking forward to it. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Jennine. Okay, so just a reminder, candidates, I will go through the questions that you were given in advance, and we will do our best to keep to 2 minutes. My yellow folder is your 30-second warning. Red means stop. Sponsored by Hy-Vee? No. And we're gonna be as official as we can. Doug, I'm gonna start with you. So, can you kick off the forum by telling us a little bit about yourself and why you are running for office? When he is done, we will just go on down through the room.
All right, I'll try to put this all in 2 minutes. My name is Doug Hoyle. I am the son of Glenn and Jade Hoyle, son-in-law of Susan and Jerry Westermark. For context, my wife is Shallon Hoyle. She's the daycare director at the Y. And I have 2 children, one of them in high school still, and one of them graduated a couple years ago. So, part of that being said, it's with my kids getting older, it's the time in my life where I decided I got time to be involved. So, for the last several years, and as many people do when their kids are getting older, they're busy and they don't have time to do what they want to do. Now I'm to the point where my daughter has a driver's license, so she doesn't really need me for anything but money, so I can go out and do things all on my own. And this is one of the first things that I've decided I'd like to try. Speaking to people I know prior to deciding to run and after, one of the reasons I chose to run is because it seems like with a lot of people I've talked to in this town, there's a distance between the citizens of Washington and the city council. So, and I think some of that comes down to avenues of communication. I think some of it comes down to just being mad about one issue, but not really knowing what's going on in the city. And there's a divide there that I'd like to try to bridge. And I think some of that will come with being in the age point that I am. I know people my age need to become more involved, and that's also why I'm deciding to become more involved. Lastly, one of the third reasons I've decided to run is it seems like over the last several years in elections, we have them this time, and there's nothing wrong with them, but there's uncontested seats open. So the last reason is just mainly to give some people a choice. I didn't realize how many people might end up running for the same seat as me, but it ended up being 3, and that's great. The biggest thing is, that everybody gets a choice, so after tonight, people can make the decision they want to make and move forward.
Thank you. Elaine.
Well, I'm a wife to Mike Moore. I'm a mom to Keely and Tia, stepmom to Chris and Nick, grandma to Fletcher, sister and an aunt. I'm a very passionate person, as some of you know, when it comes to children, animals, and the city of Washington and its residents. I was born and raised in Iowa City. Moved to Washington in 1978. I am a retired Hills Bank employee where I worked for over 20 years. What really excites me is that my grandson will be the 4th generation to graduate from the Washington High School. Super, it's very exciting to me. I have, this is the end of my 2nd term. I served 8 years. Your 1st term, you learn. There is a huge learning curve to becoming a city council member. You learn, you study, you learn where money comes from, where it doesn't come from, which a lot doesn't come. From there, you get to your 2nd term. You have a greater understanding of how things work, what the citizens want, what business people want, what the needs of the city are, and how the money comes in, and how to plan for the future. So regarding our current council race, I really feel I have a good understanding and an insight for future, and I feel that I can still make a difference with my 3rd term. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, same question to you, Steve Howard.
Well, my name is Steve Howard, and I've lived in Washington most of my adult life. I'm married to Charlotte Howard. I have 4 adult children. We have 7 grandchildren that keep us very busy. I'm a service technician for RMH Systems, and the bulk of our work is mostly large capacity truck scales. We install, repair, calibrate, certify. We do lots of material handling stuff, and I personally do welding and fabricating for some of my customers. I'm a citizen and a taxpayer in Washington, and I will probably retire here. I just want to be sure that citizens of Washington feel they are heard and represented appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Susan Carroll.
Excuse me. Hi, my name's Susan Carroll, and I was born and raised in Washington. I graduated from Washington High in 1975. I lived here the first part of my adult life. I moved out of the area for about 15 years, from 85 until 2000. Came back due to family and due to the community. I have several nieces, nephews. I have siblings that spent their life here in Washington. They're involved with the community. My nieces one niece is the track coach here in Washington. They're running tonight, actually, the cross country. And I just decided to run for the simple reason, a lot of people have made some good points. I have pretty much similar points. I feel that sometimes there's a lack of connection between City Hall and the community. I know I've talked to 2 or 3 people that said that you know, they feel a little frustrated because they don't feel like they're heard. I had a couple of younger people, they had no clue what city council even did. And I'd kind of like to change that. I'd like to open that up a little bit. I have a background in this. I retired in 2024. I was a city clerk in the city of Richland for 3.5 years. So I already have an understanding of the connection and the background on how city government works. And so that's the main reason I wanted. I don't have a big agenda other than I want to see what I can do for the community. Since I am retired, I now have the time to pursue this.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Fran Stigers, current council person for Ward 4. I'm a father, 4 daughters, all adults. And because I didn't have a son, I went ahead and adopted one. He's also an adult now. I raised all 5 of them children by myself. I currently live on South 3rd Avenue in Washington. And me and my girlfriend bought our house there about 7 years ago, and that's where we plan on staying. But before we bought it, I made sure it was still in my ward, because at that time I was a council person, and I didn't want to give up that seat because I had things I wanted to accomplish. I am not a native of Washington. That would be my mom. She was a Crawford. That's just an old name that's been around for a while. My father was in the military. I lived in the state of Washington for 7 years and lived in Europe for 3. Then my dad came back and settled in Washington, because he was raised in Cotter. You may know where that little town is. And my mom was originally from Washington, like I said, so that's how I ended up here. I settled here because this is like, if you're in the military, and those people that know the military, you get new friends every 3 years. You move. I wanted someplace that I could put my roots in and that I can exist in. And Washington, out of all the towns I've lived in, was the most friendliest, open town I'd seen. So that's why I decided to stay here. Beyond that, I've got 8 years experience as being a councilman. I've done 2 terms. I was elected the first one. Second was uncontested. There's things that's happened that I wanted to see happen, and some of you probably enjoy those. One of them's the wellness park. I was on a committee that helped put that together. I've also been involved in just a couple other boards, and I'll get to those later. But the communication issue seems to be really big right now. And even when I first ran 8 years ago, I told everybody, approach me, call me, wherever I'm at. I can't go anywhere really without somebody asking me something about the state. I even set up a Wednesday night forum at the Halcyon House every Wednesday night for a year. And I was there, and all you had to do is come in and talk to me. There was no agenda, it was just an open meeting. We used KCI to help promote that. Okay. I need to stop.
If you want to finish your sentence, you can. Every question gets 30 seconds if there's something that you'd like to add. So if you'd like to finish your sentence and whatnot, then we can.
Yeah, I just plan on, we have a strategic plan in the city, and I want to see it through. Not only do I want to see it through because I want to see it happen, but I and the current council put that together. And I want to see the results of our work.
Thank you. Does anyone have any additional comments that you'd like to add?
I do not.
Okay. Well, I like that everyone talked a lot about their connections in the community and their roots, and it is probably a great time for me to officially share the seats that they are running for. So running for Ward 4 is Fran Stigers and Susan Carroll. And then we have 3 candidates running for the at-large seat, and those are Elaine Moore, Steve Howard, and Doug Hoyle. So now that our introductions are underneath us, we'll move on. And the next question is, what ways are you currently serving and or involved in the community? And Elaine, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I'm finishing my 2nd term, so I've spent 8 years on the city council. I am currently a 10-year member of the Quanah Amers. I am also the District 8 Lieutenant Governor for the Iowa and Nebraska District of Kiwanis. I'm a board member at Posamore Animal Shelter, treasurer of the Washington County Enrichment Foundation. I donate my baking and my cooking to celebrate recovery on Tuesday nights at the Methodist Church, and I am also a member of the Methodist Church.
Thank you. We'll continue on down the road there. Steve?
All right. The company I work for called RMH encourages volunteerism. And I've personally assisted at the homeless shelter here in Washington. But on a broader scope, our company encourages us to help a nonprofit organization called Meals from the Heartland. So I go to Des Moines quite frequently and help with that. We basically put meals together, and those meals get shipped all over the world. My goal is to be a good neighbor and to help people that need help. I donate a lot of my time to help my friends and neighbors with projects and things they need help with. I just basically try to be a good neighbor, and most importantly, I enjoy celebrating other people's successes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I've done some volunteer events with Posamore. I also foster animals there. I fostered 2 dogs, and evidently I'm not very good at fostering because I adopted both of them. A lot of the time I was working with family and with friends and with neighbors and so as far as official volunteering, a lot of times I was doing just reaching out and helping friends and neighbors, because basically until I retired I was usually working 2 jobs or so during that period of time, so my time was somewhat limited, which is why now that I have retired I can concentrate more on that, which is why I dove into PAWSA more and why I also decided to go ahead and pursue this. It's my chance to give more to the community and to see what I can do, and with my background that I had as a city clerk, that I could figure that was a good way to, continue that goal.
Thank you. Fran?
Thank you. Currently, I'm the head janitor at Lincoln School, Upper Elementary School here in Washington. I've been there for 7 years. I worked at the local YMCA for 25 years, 13 as a volunteer, 12 as an employee. Some of the boards I have been on in the past, I was on the City Park Board with Mr. Pfeiffer, who's in the audience. I think we had one of the fastest fundraising things that we ever did, and that was for the thing in the fixture in Central Park here, that we did like in 2 days. We got all the money. Some guy donated it all for us, so it's kind of cool. I was on planning and zoning before that for a couple of years, and then I moved right into the city council. This is, you said, I've done 2 terms, and I'm currently on the EMS advisory committee, and I represent the southern cities in the whole of Washington County.
Thank you. And same question to you, Doug.
Well, this is the one spot where I'm kind of lacking comparing to everybody else, but that kind of falls in line with the story of, my kids are now to the point where they don't need me as much. So, approximately 5 years ago, I was a 4-H leader. I did that for 4 or 5 years in Washington County. I gave that up when my job got overwhelmingly busy and I couldn't do both at the same time. So now that my job's eased up in life and things are slowing down, this is where I'm heading to next. This is my first attempt to get back into the community, serving the community. And the only other thing I really can say is I do actually dress up as a jolly old elf every once in a while in a neighboring community. That's why I have the beard.
I feel like that was the wrong thing to say to a chamber director who plans a lot of events.
Well, I'm just putting it out there.
You're gonna be on a lot of my lists here. Do any of you have any further remarks that you would like to add to that question?
I do not.
Okay. Next question, and Steve, we're gonna start with you. So what do you believe are your qualifications for the office you are seeking?
Well, I've held managerial and supervisory positions in my past jobs, and I still kind of do that to a degree. We have 2 other people over here with our company that I help guide and train. I'm a self-starter, have valuable skills and vision. I enjoy educating and training new employees. I actually enjoy that. I have a desire to learn city government and contribute to Washington. And everyone that throws their hat in the ring and decides to run for any type of office for the first time like me, it's all new. And I'm up to the task, and I have more time in my life to devote to this, so that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan, same question?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I retired from a job at Richland. I was a city clerk for 3.5 years there, and that involves training through the state, League of Cities and some other training facilities. So I already have a basis as far as how government goes, how the budget is supposed to go. In this area, I was also deputy clerk at Brighton for a short time before that. When I first graduated, and then in my 20s and early 30s, I also was president and or vice president for 4 or 5 years of the adult softball leagues here in town. I know some of you remember how much slow pitch softball was in the community. And so I was running about 14 teams league. I was also running the kids' youth league, youth softball leagues. I also officiated and, you know, was a participant. So I got that activity to be able to run leagues, work with other people, you know, kind of coordinate events and in that regard. So I think with that background, I also have a 2-year degree in accounting. So my emphasis probably be a little more budget-wise and a little more what's the best way to use money. That is a strength of mine, but I also want to develop a working relationship with the city and their employees.
Thank you. And Fran.
Again, I say it, and I'll repeat like everybody else that's been on the board. I've been on there for 8 years. I've gone through 3 administrators. I'm on my 3rd one. The first one I learned a lot from, and that would have been them first 2 or 3 years. Brent did an excellent job on making sure we were informed and what we needed to work on. We had weekly meetings with him, which I appreciated, and I learned a lot through him. The other ones, I just kept doing what I was doing, trying to grow, learn what they wanted to do, get their attitudes down, figure out what we're gonna do next. We've had some challenges. The biggest one happens every year. It's called the budget. And I, be honest with you, I don't look for it every year, but we have to, there's some things we have to do. Sometimes we gotta do what we don't like, and I'm up for that. I've done it for 8 years. I figured it out. And on top of that, we've had some leadership changes, which is something else you have to deal with because different administrators have different styles. And not all of them fit. You have to try to grow to make them fit. It's like putting a bar on a tree. The tree's gonna roll around it. Keep it strong. And that's what I plan on doing.
Thank you. Okay, same question to you, Doug.
So for the last 12 years, I've been working as a construction estimator project manager. And that job means that in the estimating side of things, my job is to figure out the costs of projects and find sources for people to do as good of a job at the same or less cost, keep the quality of projects up, and keep projects moving. The project management side of that job means that my job is to budget, keep budgets in check, make sure everybody that tells me they're gonna cost X amount of dollars is only charging us X amount of dollars, and if there's anything outside of that realm, we have to negotiate why, and sometimes you just have to refuse to pay them, but sometimes you pay them out, because they've got good excuses. And so that's where my experience in construction, I think, is important when it comes to a city developing anything. Any kind of project you're doing is gonna be construction related, and so that experience is helpful in that aspect. I think that I'm a very good communicator. I learned that a lot more than I knew when I went out to get signatures for this position, because it became difficult. I would set a plan of saying, okay, I'm gonna go see these 4 people. I would get to the first house and spend an hour there and not make it to the second or third or fourth house. And so it took me a lot longer to get all the signatures than I thought it would, because once you start asking people questions about city council, they like to talk. And they like to tell you everything that they think, and that's where I think a lot of us come up with the ideas of disconnects between what the city council's doing and what people know. Maybe they're true, maybe they're not, but that's what the people are saying.
Thank you. All right, and on to you, Elaine.
I've been on the city council for 2 terms, 8 years. I attend Iowa League of Cities annual meetings where they offer classes to educate council members. I do take, or I have taken multiple classes to include, but not just, tax increment financing, because that is a very intricate type of tax financing, and it's hard to learn, so I continue to take classes. Being on city council is not just a 2 meeting a month position. You have reading, homework, and questions, which I do ask questions on a regular basis. I'm currently serving on the park planning and nuisance committee and reviews. I also, at my previous employment, I am retired. I was a supervisor and operations officer at Hills Bank. So there I had to manage people, my own time, and take care of people that were our customers. So I understand customer service. I am a board member for Paws and More Animal Shelter. We are in the process of planning a building and building a building and construction costs and planning for that building, planning for the future, keeping costs down. It's been quite a learning experience, but things are going very, very well. And I also do fundraising through Paws and More. I'm currently Lieutenant Governor of Division 8 of the Southeast Iowa, overseeing 7 Kiwanis clubs. I've been president of Kiwana Amers. I've been a Sunday school teacher. I've been on Christian education. So I think this all shows that I have the ability to organize, to plan, to budget, to state my opinions. I am passionate. I will tell you. I am passionate. I will state my opinions. I can have no problem voting no or yes if I am passionate about it and agree with the reason I am. But I'm also one that can say I've made a mistake and maybe I don't agree, but we all get along. So I am a very passionate, sorry. Sorry, no passion. Sorry, I didn't look up.
That's fine, your passion just got your extra 30 seconds.
Yes.
And that's my time to ask if any of the other candidates have any other remarks they'd like to add to that question.
Nope, I do not.
I love doing these events because you do get to just learn about why people are running, and they are all passionate for different reasons and might have a different way of getting there. And so it's just great to see people love on our community. Okay, our next question, we're gonna start with Susan. So can you tell us a little bit about your decision-making style and how you will employ that if elected?
Well, as I've said before, my degree is accounting. Accountants are pretty well known for being methodical in their thinking. I carry that to a certain point to get facts, to get information, to go to different sources to find that information. But I don't like to stop there. I like to kind of open the door a little bit because there's a lot of people out there with a lot of good ideas. And so I kind of encourage and want to hear them. You take that information into account, and then through your own research and stuff, you know what can be done, what can't be done. And through those discussions, then you arrive to a solution. I'm kind of a solutions person. I'm not a politician by nature. So basically, I'm more interested in let's find the answer to the question, let's find a solution to the problem. And so I think there's multiple avenues to use in that, and I like to use them all in my decision-making process.
Thank you. Same question to you, Fran.
Okay, I'm gonna try to make up for my overrun here, because this is really short. I'm a little old school. And I'll tell you, honesty up front is the best policy. And I prefer to listen more than I speak, because fools talk too long. And I like to think that I'm representing the people in my ward. If they don't think I am, talk to me, tell me what you want. I'm open.
Well, you did make up some time. Thank you. Okay, Doug, same question to you.
Based on, again, going back to my work experience, I have 2 directions of decision-making. If I have the time, I like to be methodical and go through everything and kind of going down that same construction line, you know. Is this the right price for the right materials? Is this better? Do we have better options out there? So if we have the time to actually look things over, I like to do as much research as possible to make sure we're doing the best job possible. But on the project managing side of things, you don't get that option because people call you when there's a problem and they need an answer now because the concrete truck's sitting there, or, you know, the carpenters are waiting for you to get moving. So you have to make a quick decision. So in that aspect, as things are moving, I can also make decisions quick based on past experience or what I know is going on, what I know I have in a budget for a project, or how the outcome could be. One other thing in my past is I used to be a safety director for a cooperative. And when you get to be put in a position of being the guy in charge of one of the deadliest positions in the United States, you get to start looking at everything in a lot of ways. So you have to start thinking of every worst case scenario as on top of just thinking of the best case scenario. So decision making in that aspect got a lot broader for me. So I've had a whole lot of different experiences of how to make decisions, so I think I can probably come up with a solution that fits every situation.
Thank you. All right, Elaine?
My decision making is I ask a lot of questions, and again, I am passionate, so I have a lot of questions to ask. I do my homework. There's a lot of homework, and you've got to study. Then I take into consideration any communication that I have with residents. My phone number is published. I get calls all the time. My husband does not go to the store with me anymore. He sits in the car a lot, waiting for me. We go to restaurants. He sits in the car waiting for me to come out. So I do listen, but you also have to consider the ripple effect. And believe it or not, there is a ripple effect in city government. If you make one decision, it could affect how the state sees a decision you've made. You make another decision, and that ripple effect could affect multiple people down the line, and it goes every direction. So one question or one decision you make can affect so many people, and you have to take that decision and think about the ripple effect. That's how I make decisions.
Thank you. And last, same question to Steve.
Well, this will be a quick and simple answer for me. I find it best to listen to the constituents because I'm not coming to this position with a Steve Howard agenda. I want to hear what the citizens of Washington want, and I think there's a delicate balance between what the citizens want and what's best for the city. And sometimes that is a hard decision to make, but I'm prepared to make those decisions, and that's my decision-making style. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do any of our candidates have anything they would like to add to the question about decision-making style? Perfect. Okay, I think we're up for Fran going next here. And the question I have is, what would you like to accomplish if elected?
Well, as a council person, I would like to accomplish and increase affordable housing. I don't mean just the $500,000 houses. I'm talking about the starter homes. We need starter homes. We have young people in our community. I work at a school. Half the teachers do not live in Washington because they can't afford a house yet. They're just getting out of college, starting their careers. They want to get a house, and we need to help that happen as much as we can. The other problem that does, and we're talking about ripple effect, if we do that, we're gonna need more daycare. Because these families are gonna start out with 2, and they're gonna multiply. I didn't know 20 years ago I was gonna have 15 grandkids. I hate Christmas. It's expensive, but that's what I got. I got 15 grandkids and we're happy. We like it that way. But we're gonna need daycare. And then on that, all that retail is gonna be in Washington. They're not taking it home with them anymore. Their home will be in Washington. And that's what I wanna do.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna go on the other side of the table here to Doug. What would you like to accomplish if elected?
So one of the first things is just being more involved. I'd like to get more involved in the community, and if elected, that would be a jump start into that, but also reach out from there into other aspects of the community to get more involved, get more people involved my age. Like I said, you know, I've even talked to when I was getting signatures, people said, and they would say, I don't know what's going on here. And I'd say, well, I can tell you because we're looking at this stuff now for a while. This is what's going on. And they go, oh yeah, I didn't know that because I never go to a city council meeting. I don't pay attention. So trying to get more people involved in what's going on in the city outside of the regular people that are always involved. That also goes along with increasing the communication. My teenage daughter thought I needed a social media account, so if you didn't know, I have an Instagram page is running for city council. She runs it, not me, because that's her gig, and she's not here to help me can't go to my campaign tonight because she's got dance, but she's in charge of that. So that's kind of my aspect of going out, is trying to figure out how to make my involvement more social too, so everybody knows what's going on. And lastly, it's kind of like Steve's been saying too, is that I'm not here because I want anything done in the city right now. I'm here because people want things done in the city. So really, I'm just their representative at this point, and whatever, you know, they start throwing at me is the direction I'd like to go.
Thank you. Elaine?
I really have nothing that I wish to accomplish, because my agenda is to accomplish what my voters and my taxpayers want. My job is to serve the people of Washington to the best of my ability, and not myself. So we have many wonderful projects in the works, that we must address. Infrastructure is a major one. The egg sewer, the affordable housing, and so it's just still doing what is best for our community, wanting the best for our community, and figuring out where those dollars are going to come from so that we can bring more people to our community. We have a wonderful community, and I want more residents. I want more people to come in and enjoy our community.
Thank you. Steve?
Well, again, I don't have a Steve Howard agenda. I want to make sure that I'm doing what the people want in this community, and I'm going to familiarize, educate myself on the current city projects and the financials. But ultimately, I would like to hear comments of, man, that Steve Howard did a really good job, and I'm glad we elected him. That's my accomplishment that I want to put forward. Thank you.
You get that all the time when you're in the public.
Well, I hope so.
You do, but. All right, Susan, same question to you.
Well, people have been pretty thorough about many of the things that I'd like to accomplish. I agree as far as being a city council member. You're there for your constituents. In my case, it would be for Ward 4, it'd be my neighborhood, and everybody in Ward 4. So I kind of want to listen to them. I want them to be able to approach me. I want them to be able to ask me, tell me what they're looking for, what they want accomplished, why we can or cannot do it. You know, I can come back to them for that. I do agree with Fran and with some of the others here as far as affordable housing. I think that's a big need here in Washington. I think that will draw people in a lot more than some of the other things that have been done over the years. My aspect is to watch budgetary wise. I know it's going to get tight with the property tax reforms they did at the state level. It's hitting the local levels very hard. So it's tightened things up significantly. So that's going to have to be watched carefully to still be able to take care of the people here. And that's a big focus of mine too. I want to concentrate as much on the people that already committed to being here, have put their money in, their time, their lives, their generational levels lives here, as much as I want to draw new people in. I want to take care of the people that are already committed to being here.
Thank you. Okay, and we gave our candidates 2 additional questions. One about how they would make themselves available for voters, and a little bit about the city budget. But we typically get a number of questions about the budget from the audience, and they've talked about communication availability a bit. So at this point, we're gonna take a break. Great time to use the restroom, stretch your legs. I would appreciate it if you guys have questions that you would like us to consider, to pass those down the road, and Jeannie and I will collect them. And then in about 3 to 5 minutes, we'll come back and we'll begin with the second part of the forum. So please give our candidates a round of applause for everything so far.
Hey, thanks for watching the podcast. We're taking just a quick break here because I need to share with you how you can get one of these cool t-shirts or one of these cool hats or this huge, let me just make sure I'm holding this right, Southeast Iowa Today with John Bain blanket. Oh, man, it is soft too. Anyway, all you gotta do is go to a website called Bain Designs, and that's what it looks like. You can see it there. Once you're there, just search Southeast Iowa Today with John Bain, and boom, up comes that. And you can get stuff like this, a tumbler. This is Southeast Iowa Today with John Bain, and on the back, stay friendly, Southeast Iowa. And don't forget the ever cool Southeast Iowa Today with John Bain coffee mugs that also say stay friendly, Southeast Iowa. It's all there. And why am I telling you this? It's because I appreciate you, and I know that you tell people about this podcast, but this is a way for you to become a walking billboard, get some conversation started, help me promote your favorite podcast. And once again, I thank you. And this was a long enough break. We got to get back to the podcast. And, stay friendly, Southeast Iowa. And thank you so much.
Okay. This is the fun part for me where I get to hear comments from the community, and then there's always recurring themes that get asked, and then I try to merge them together on the spot and try to come up with some sort of an eloquent question. So this is when I'm in the hot seat. Bear with me. Let's see. The first round we started on this side with Doug, so we're gonna flip it, and Fran, we're gonna begin with you, so pay close attention.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll be able to repeat the same question twice, but I will do my best. So there was talk in the first half about affordable housing being a priority for many, and improving public buildings. With the aging population in mind, and with the tightened city budget, what types of projects do you feel the city will be able to move forward on and make some headway, especially with, I would say, affordable housing, yep, and some infrastructure.
Currently, there are a few places where there's land available for people to build on. There are some investors in town that I hope are looking to partner up. We have things in our budget, like the TIF budget, that we can get money from. We can apply for different grants. That would be, our administrators can answer that better than I could, because that's what he does. But I think if we start pulling everybody in, the interested parties, the ones that want to see Washington grow and want to see Washington be the best it can be, we can do that. We just got to make the connection. And I'm hoping I can be part of that.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna work towards me here. So Susan.
Basically, as far as affordable housing, we do have a limit as far as smaller homes. I also think multi-level homes, apartments, stuff like this is an option. I do agree with Fran as far as the city council should be the hub as far as reaching out to builders, reaching out to developers, reaching out to interested parties to make it happen. As far as the city is concerned with financing, TIF is a very good idea. There are some other options also. It's going to be a little tougher here in the next few years as far as city financing and stuff. But if we concentrate on what the city is important for the city, such as infrastructure and stuff like this, make this a place where it's a solid community so that people will risk building here, then that will go a long way toward that. But yeah, you just have to explore every opportunity for financing that you can find, and sometimes get creative as far as putting multiples together.
Thank you. Steve?
Well, not being on the city council, it's really hard for me to speak eloquently on this subject, not knowing where the city is and what property is available, but I do have an inside track that we are short housing. We definitely need to build housing here, so I think we just need to explore every possibility and build on that.
Thank you. Elaine?
Well, city tax rate, Sue keeps talking about, and others have mentioned, the House File 718, which was passed in 2003. It will ratchet back, and that's the words they use, tax rates starting at $8.10 per thousand valuation. So what that means is the city, we as a city, our tax rate was $16.14, and it went down last year to $16.07 per thousand valuation. So as we continue to keep our taxes in check with the state and this House vote 718, this bill will make it very difficult for cities, schools, and counties to prepare their budgets. The money's just not going to come down from the state as it should. So this bill uses a very complex formula to calculate the city's rate. So with that formula, a city's tax rate can fluctuate both up and down depending on the growth of the city. And other factors are factored into that formula. And it's very complicated. Once the city tax evaluation falls below $8.10 per thousand valuation, it will not rise again till 2029. Now this is something we have no control over. This is the state. We have no control over the city as well or another component that we have no valuation control over how much our properties are worth. We do not assess that. So in the future, we have to be proactive, not reactive. We must look at what our needs are, what must be fixed, our infrastructure, our streets, such as the new overlay on South B. We need to plan, we need to be able to save and work on these projects to make sure that we stay on top of the needs of our city and still stay within our budget. Money comes from many different directions and it isn't easy to make. This is our budget. This is last year's budget right here. So we go through that. So, and you're welcome to come see it and watch the city council go through budget.
Thank you. Doug, same question to you.
That's gonna be hard to follow. Kind of reiterating what everybody else is saying. I'm no expert on the affordable housing situation. What I think though is that there's a need for maybe switching some of the direction of Washington from improvement mode to a maintenance mood. I think is kind of where I'm thinking, and with that is where do we spend our tax dollars? So you know, a house need is one thing, but the needs of the people who are already here, who already own homes, is another thing, and I guess that's kind of where my focus is more at. Improving streets that are broken down from years of use, and improving sewer lines and those kind of things, which are all going to be needed to add houses to the town anyway. So I guess that's kind of my focus of this more than the affordable. It's not really the answer to the question directly, but that's kind of where my mindset's at.
Thank you. Would anyone have anything else they'd like to add?
No.
Alrighty. So another question that we received from the audience is asking for an explanation on what TIF is. and it was mentioned a couple times in this most recent response. So if you can explain TIF and let us know if it is a useful tool for the city and why or why not. And Susan, hopefully your background
Kelsey.
with county.
If I
Susan
could
gets to
put
start with
that,
this one, unless
You want to start, you can.
well,
Go for it.
TIF is very confusing. It's a book, and you gotta read it someday. You'll fall asleep on every page. The best person I know that can explain it would be our city administrator. I can't answer it because it's too confusing for me. It's just, there's just too much there. But in a nutshell, it's basically money that we have, that we put aside in our budget to improve the city of Washington. That's it in a nutshell. But it's much more broader than that. And I am not the person to explain that one.
Thank you. Susan, do you have an explanation? Definition?
Not really, for the simple reason that over in Richland, small town, we avoided TIF like plague because it is an involved level of financing. And it does involve a lot of stuff that our city didn't need and our city frankly couldn't handle. So my knowledge of TIF is somewhat limited. I have started looking at it just when I decided to run for council because I know here that is a major way to afford to finance projects, especially major projects. It's a valuable way to go, but it is very involved. I personally have not met Joe. He's new at his position. I know Kelsey pretty well as far as a financial officer. I know she has a very good handle on it. So the first person I'll be going to, if I do get elected, will be going to Kelsey and get some one-on-one lessons on TIF. But I do know it is a vital and valuable way to, and almost the only way to finance bigger projects.
Thank you. Steve?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know much about this TIF program, but it's gonna be on my search history. I'm gonna dig into this. It seems to be an interesting topic that not too many people know much about, so good place for me to start.
All right. Elaine?
How much time do I have?
You have 2 minutes.
Well, TIF it is very difficult. TIF is, you're using your the taxes that for projects, for instance, the hotel, a new development. We've used it for Timber Ridge. So with TIF, we are essentially, I want to say loaning money out and using what taxes that we are going to gain, and this is very elementary, gain from those taxes to help develop a large project. So we do not see the benefits of those projects for several years down the line, and then we start paying ourselves back for that TIF. Now that is very elementary, and there are reports, there's codes, there's guidelines, and can I tell you those? No, I have to depend. And even for me to understand TIF, I go to those classes and I come out with my head swimming. But TIF is a good tool to bring development into our cities. But it doesn't always benefit the city right away, but when it does, it is a wonderful tool. But it takes time for it to benefit us as a city.
Minute and a half, you did good. Woo. How about that definition, Kelsey?
Increment financing is great.
Did good?
Thank you.
Good job. And thank you for those joining us. TIF does stand for tax increment financing, so thanks for that little nudge there so I can help you there. Doug? Let's explain TIF and how it can be useful.
So, when you decide to run for city council in about July of a year, when they say, these are the offices that are coming up, you go, boy, I got a lot of stuff to learn. So you start looking up everything you can think of. TIF was not on my list. That's all I got to say.
Oh, that's great. Okay, well, here's something that, Doug, you should not have missed, and many of you. We have seen some infrastructure changes around our community with the beloved 4 lanes, for those of us who grew up here, turning to 3 lanes and some stoplights. The next question is if you can talk to us a little bit about what priorities the city should have as far as local infrastructures with roads, some of the traffic safety improvements that are in process, and maybe are there some other traffic safety or infrastructure things that are on your radar, either just as being in the community or in city council, that you can talk about. So, Susan, are you okay starting with this one here?
Basically, the city has done a pretty decent job so far as traffic, although, yes, I was born and raised here, so the beloved 4 lanes are beloved, and I still do miss them. I think more work needs to be done on the streets in town. I think they're already starting to get a handle on it. I know I've listened to some council meetings and stuff where they're starting to develop a plan for some of those repairs and all this, and what they can overlay, asphalt overlay, and what they need to actually use cement and actually restructure the road. I do like the stoplight idea on 12th and Washington. Before I moved to Ward 4, I lived for almost 20 years over on East Washington, not too far from that intersection. That was a fun intersection, and I do think that was more than time to do it there. The traffic, especially once they get Walmart out there, the traffic increased a lot. As far as other infrastructure, I think that's an ongoing thing as far as the sewers and all that. Time marches on. There's a lot of stuff that needs addressed, especially, like I said, if we want to get more housing in here. It's just a time thing. You can only do so much with so much money, so you have to just do it in a methodical way. So that needs to be addressed. As far as that, I think the city has been going toward that, and it just needs to continue to be a high priority here in town.
Thank you. Steve?
Well, it was brought to my attention that we have some pretty hefty sewer projects that are on the horizon, and we need to budget for that. I don't think the public really knows or fully understands the scope of some of that work, and I think when we start digging in that, it's gonna be heavy. As far as the 3 lanes, I'm not a fan of the 3 lanes, and I actually thought, well, why are they doing this? So when I was at the city council meeting last night, I just asked Joe, why are we doing this 3-lane? And because this is something that I get a lot of feedback from people that I talk to, and what I didn't realize is when the city of Washington accepts federal money, then the federal government gets to stick their fingers in our projects. And one of the things they do, it was termed road diet. The federal government seems to think this 3-lane thing is the way to go. I'm kind of disappointed that the people in Washington don't understand or know that some of these changes come from so far up that we don't have any influence on that. That's one of the things that I want to change, and I'm doing that by reaching out on social media, and I'm asking people, what do you think is going well in the city? What do you think needs to be improved on? And I'm kind of disappointed because we seem to have a lot of people that don't fully understand what is in the scope of the city council. And so the city council has been catching a lot of flack from what I see, that they're, like for instance, property taxes. they just don't understand, and that's kind of what I want to do with the social media is to invite people to engage with me and help explain some of this stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Elaine.
Well, we do have a lot of sewer projects. The stormwater retention is a big, is a big project. We also have the egg sewer. Anybody know what the egg sewer is? Yeah, the egg sewer starts up here on East 2nd, and it goes all the way out to the water treatment plant. We found an easement of the late 1800s, so it's that old. It's made of brick, and it is collapsing, and it needs to either be replaced, it needs to be lined, something needs to be done with it. And this was put in long before codes. So this is a huge project. I have been talking about this for over 4 years. And what do we need to plan for? What are the needs? So that is a huge project. We need to plan for it, we need to save for it, and we need to figure out where the funds are going to come to repair it. We're already doing cameras in there and making assessments with it. Street repair is huge. We talked last night about repairing North 12th. I've heard a lot about that. But again, we have some special grants or money to use to repair that. That will be a 2027, I believe, but believe me, we start planning for 5 years in advance. Every year we have a planning session. We set what are our priorities. We work through that. What needs to be done? What is the cost going to be? We have a whole spreadsheet. January is super busy. We work very, very hard at planning the budget. And again, this is our budget. By the time we get to this, we have to go through it paper by paper and decide what are our wants and needs. But our needs right now are sewer retention, sewer projects, streets, infrastructure, and the egg sewer. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug?
Yeah, I think we're all gonna say a lot of the same thing on this one. Going out and getting signatures, the 2 street sections that were brought up to me were 12th Street and West Washington, which are the 2 sections that City Council is now discussing making repairs to. Listening to the meeting last night, it was discussed there's X amount of dollars to be spent on one of 2 projects, and I guess my big question is why don't we spend X amount of dollars on a few other projects combined? Maybe that's not possible, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But that's kind of my thought is, if the section of 12th Street right next to the railroad tracks, and if anybody doesn't know where I'm talking about, it's right outside Ideal Ready Mix. It's been horrible for years, and now we're talking it could take 3 to 4 more years to get the money to fix it. Well, that's the part of the aspect of me saying I think maintenance needs to become more a priority than improvement sometimes, is that could have been maybe budgeted years ago to be getting fixed already, but it hasn't been. So maybe there's other parts of the town that have been getting fixed that I don't see, but that's the one I see the most and I've heard the most about. So just to keep the theme going, sewers and roads.
All right, and thank you. Fran?
I'm gonna echo what Mr. Hoyle just said. 12th Street is terrible. If we could do it out all the way to 15th, you'd have a great road. But we can only afford to go to 7th according to the higher anarchy can tell us we can do. And then we got our budget, we gotta rely on if we wanna do more than that. I don't think the city people that I represent are ready for that big of a tax. Because if we do that, we're gonna have to raise taxes. And I don't think you want that right now. Because everything's going up, and if we try to keep things low, like Ms. Moore said earlier, we're down to 16, 10, 16, 18, and everybody else is up. It used to be 10 years ago, it was 26.4 again.
Our taxes
Yeah.
went down.
Our taxes went down a little bit. I think y'all like that. I think we could do the same thing again. But infrastructure costs, and like I said, that eggshell project built in the 1800s, and it's still around. It's a pretty good design. You can just redesign it. I don't know. I'm not a sewer guy. I don't like closed spaces where it starts.
Thank you. Does anyone have anything else they would like to add to that question? Okay. We're gonna build on that question here, and Steve, you're my man that's gonna be up here. with some significant projects like sewer, downtown streetscape, some other infrastructure projects, and some budget cuts that we're all facing. What ideas do you have to fund and implement some of these improvements?
Well, I think it's important to explore all the grant money we can. I think that's important at all levels. And I spoke before where you really need to have a good balance between what people want and what's best for the city. And I think if I'm elected to the city council, I'm gonna do my best to make those best decisions.
Thank you. And Elaine?
Well, the city is really right now in a very difficult position of trying to find money for everybody's wants. But again, we have to go back to needs. We have utilized grants. We've had the Wellmark grant and we've got Main Street grants. We have a lot of grants that we work with. And we write out a lot of grants, and of course the riverboat grants, and we hope that they will continue to be the amount that they have been in, but there is worry about that. So that's another worry on the part of the city council. Will Riverside continue once the new casino is built in Cedar Rapids? It's going to affect every city in our county, which is very, very sad. So every city in our county, every city in our state is worried about the state level and the money trickling down, but they're also worrying about what is going to happen with our casino, because they have been wonderful with their grants, and we've used them quite efficiently. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Doug?
I guess one main thought I have listening to this, because the city does rely on a lot of grants. I would like, someday if I get elected, I will know more about the budget. I don't yet, but I think there's gotta be aspects of the budget that can be changed. So maybe we don't have to rely on grants quite as much. Maybe we have money we're spending in different ways that we don't need to be. Maybe there's cuts that can be made to help alleviate the need for grants, because nobody wants taxes to go up. We are one of the higher tax cities in Washington, or in the state of Iowa. So I think everybody's goals would be to lower our taxes even more. We just have to figure out how to do that with using grants when they're available, but also trying to figure out what the actual needs are versus the wants.
Thank you. Fran?
I just wrote down 3 words when we all were talking. Wants aren't needs. Big difference. If we need fresh water, we need it. If we need to get rid of sewage, we need to get rid of sewage. But we don't have to have a marble casing to carry it out with. Make sense?
Okay, and Susan?
Yeah, revenue streams are always a big challenge for municipalities. I know it was a lot smaller budget, but the Richland city budget, I basically didn't get a lot of input, so basically had to do it myself. And you have the different revenue streams, but they are dependent on where they come from, and they are restricted on how they can be used. So, for example, you look at a city and you say, they'll look at all that money coming in, but it's earmarked. It has to be used a certain way. You have road use tax, has to be used a certain way. I don't know about the local option sales tax here. I know Richland relied on it basically because it was voted in as far as you could use it for any legal aspect. You know, and then there are other revenue streams, but you know, the cities are limited in how they can use them. So that is where the grant aspect comes in. That's where the TIF money comes in. That's where the other revenue streams come in, because you have to look for those, because those you are free to use in how you want to use it, how you need to use it to keep your city running.
Thank you. Does anyone have anything else to add?
I do not.
I would just say, when we go through the budget and Kelsey reads the budget, it'll say we are over budget in this for this reason, and we're under budget for this reason. And that's because money comes in and out at different times of the year. So when it all shakes out at the end of the year, it's a balanced budget. We may be over a little bit in this fund, we may be under a little bit in that fund, but overall, all the money that is budgeted and she reports about is earmarked and spent. Once we pass our budget, it's there.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so that last question kind of ties into a comment or question we received from the audience. You guys talked a lot about wants versus needs. And we've got property tax reform, tightening your budget. We're also trying to invest in the community. For example, the recent Master Parks Plan and the team that has been hired to undertake that, which is $50,000 partnership for that next plan and the next phase for the parks. So, how would we move forward in implementing some of those items from the Master Parks Plan with a shortened budget? And also, if you needed to cut one service, one item from your budget, what is it? And luckily Elaine's up first, so she's got to mow. Apologies.
So as far as our parks, the parks, there is money earmarked already for it. We have to spend it for parks. So and this is a master plan over many, many years. So if you don't have a plan, you'll never reach your end product. So that's for the master plan. Is it going to be, overall, is it going to be difficult? You bet it's going to be difficult. But we've got to have a plan for everything. So we have a plan that we're investigating for the egg sewer. We have a master plan for the parks. So on and so forth. As far as picking where would we cut, what program, where would we cut, until we get to the budget, we don't know where we have to cut, because everybody has a bucket. And there's law enforcement, there's fire, there's road use plans. So every bucket, every amount of money has a bucket. And so you have to pick and choose in each department what is a want and what is a need. And do you want us to cut a fireman? We already have a volunteer fire, primarily volunteer fire department. When your house is on fire, I doubt it. So we have to look within the fire budget. Police officers, do we need to cut a police officer? Well, within our budget, if my house is being robbed, I'm not going to do that. So we have to look within their budget how we are going to overall cut. So it's not just one person, one item, one thing. It's an overall cut from each bucket.
Thank you. 2 seconds to spare. All right, Doug?
So again, when you start running for an office, you don't have time to look into everything. So I'm learning stuff tonight. So to say that the park master plan has earmarked money that has to be used for that, that's good to know, because you could say, well, if the surveys come back that no improvements need made in the park, why would we spend the money on it? But if it has to be spent there, that's one thing people need to know, that saying you don't want improvements there because you want something else doesn't do any good, because that money has to go there. What was the second thought I was having?
Yeah. What would you cut?
How do you cut?
Oh, how do you cut? Thank you. How do you cut? So this is kind of, the answer is nobody knows yet. It's kind of like when they used to talk about the $400 hammer at the White House. What's that thing that nobody knows about that people are spending a bunch of money on that you don't need? I've looked at the budget reports from last year. There are line items that I guarantee have things attached to them that you don't see just in that line item unless you're studying every aspect of it. And when you spend 6 months or 3 months or however long you spend trying to get to this point, you don't have time to learn all that. As both city councilmen sitting here have said, the first 4 years is learning, so there's a lot to learn in that first 4 years. So I don't have a good answer for what could be cut because I don't know what all is there yet.
Thank you. Fran?
I'm gonna steal Ms. Moore's wording, an overall cut. You can't cut one police officer. We still need police officers. In fact, I think we need more. But we can't budget for more. And sometimes you can't find the people that want to be a cop. When it comes to a plan, that's just what it is. What they're not saying, or didn't totally come out and say, I should say, is that's some federal dollars. You know what happens when the feds get involved? That's where the money's gotta go. And we gotta prove it went there. It's gotta be in our budget, it's gotta be in our capital plan, it's gotta be in the master plan for the parks. If we continue to do that type of work, which I think is good, and we get some affordable housing, then we're gonna have people staying here instead of going to Iowa City, Cedar Rapids. I'll use baseball, a very good prime example, because everybody loves baseball, right? We put 8 ball fields out there, and they're busy every weekend. Then people are coming to Washington, traveling teams, specialty teams, and they're spending money here. If we keep that increase going, that ball kind of rolling, it's gonna be more people. So if we get more housing, we get a hotel in town, that's more income for our city, more tax dollars you don't have to put out.
Okay,
I seem to flag that to them.
did good. Susan, same question to you.
And the council members have good points, just working on the budgets like that. It's hard to cut a major service and all that. Usually spend your time paring down where you can pare down, what you can do. The planning is key and it's vital because you look down the road a little bit and you can break up your financing to such a point where you can afford this stuff, where you can pay for this stuff as you go. The tax revenue, it is important to get people to come here so that it takes some of the pressure off the people that are already here. Having said that, sometimes money is spent attracting people here and maybe the balance, not so much the last several years, but I know there for a little while, there was a focus on so much for attracting people here, we're kind of forgetting about taking care of the people already here. I think that has turned. So I'm, you know, and I'm glad to see it because I think with the planning and stuff, it kind of looking more toward a plan to take care of the needs of the town, of the residents here, but at the same time, if you do that, you can make it an attractive place for people to come to, as well as some of the other stuff like the ball fields and all that to attract people to visit. Because I know I have some relatives that come and they do the ball team thing, the traveling teams and all that, and they brag about the Washington aspect of it. So that kind of stuff, but it is a balance, and it is a hard balance. It's going to get tougher in the next few years with the property tax adjustments that's been made.
Thank you. And then on to you, Steve.
If I'm being asked what program I would cut, this is gonna be a twofold answer. I think not being a current city council member, this question is impossible for me to answer, and you could also say it's unfair. Now, if I was in the city council seat and they said, look, Steve, we have X amount of dollars coming in and we have X amount of dollars going out and they don't match, so we gotta cut something, this falls on your shoulder, I would make that decision because we can't run in the red. Something has to be cut. It's sad as it is, it has to be cut. And I would make that decision. Now, The other part of that question, or the answer rather, is I don't think the citizens of Washington fully understand what is being asked of the city council when it comes to funding things. Where does this money come from? What big giant projects do we have on the horizon? So I think you could ease that pain a little bit if we could educate the citizens of Washington about, you know, where the money's coming from, how much we have, and all these projects that are on the horizon, because it's a sad reality. If you have X amount of dollars coming in and X amount of dollars coming in, and they don't match, something has to cut. Even if it's temporary, it still has to be cut. And once again, if that was dumped on my shoulders, I would make the decision and just hope that the people would understand.
Thank you. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add to that?
I think I do.
Yes.
When it comes to the budget, everybody in this room has a budget for their house and for their family. It's almost the same thing, it's just bigger numbers. If you want a new refrigerator, but the one you got's working, run it till it dies. That's what the city's been doing in the past. We're trying to do some forward thinking on that, and we set apart funds to where down the road, we'll have this money already to buy that new refrigerator. Okay? If we need to buy a squad car, right now, probably can't happen. But we're planning, putting stuff away for 4 years, so we'll have a balance for a new vehicle. Whether it be for the police or the park department or whatever department we got. So, what would you cut on your budget if it was your home budget? Would you cut out food? Cut out water? Power? Turn the temp down. Takes less power. That's what we do with our budget. We turn the temp down and save money. But we don't do it with just power. We add solar, which helps increase our power, which we have done in the city.
Thank you.
I would like to say another comment if I can.
Absolutely.
I've been engaging with people on social media just to try to gauge the temperature of where people are on some of these issues. And I really think that we need to do more to educate the citizens of Washington about what our true needs are, because I'm kind of disappointed at some of the comments that I've seen. I saw a comment where they think these people are getting paid $300,000 a year. No. And really, and not, I'm not making fun of this person, but the point I'm trying to make is, this person thinks we're squandering money paying the city council, and it's just not happening. So I would like, and that would be my goal, is to really reach out to people at a grassroots level and say, look, this is how it is. And I have an open door policy. I welcome anybody on social media to reach out to me privately. I will give you my cell phone number, and we can talk about this and try to help that part.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I will say, we do get paid per meeting. Is it $75 a meeting? But I will guarantee that I spend more time reading, studying, and going into City Hall and asking questions than that $75. So you do get your $75, but I put a lot of volunteer time in, which I'm not complaining. I as you could tell, I volunteer for so much, and it's my privilege. It's a privilege to be a volunteer, and I enjoy it.
You just created a $290,000 surplus.
Yeah. Oh, all right, yeah, and I think that from all this talk, I think a common theme is communication, bridging that gap with the community. And, you know, my thoughts, Doug, go to your daughter, maybe, I don't know, she TikToks also and all the other stuff. We gotta figure out a way to reach the community.
I'm super popular with the high schoolers right now.
Perfect.
They don't get to vote, so hopefully they're telling their parents.
Good. Okay, so this ends the question and answer section with the community. And at this moment, we would like to invite our candidates to give 1 minute final remarks on your candidacy. And I believe, Doug, you are next on my list.
I guess my final thoughts are, it sounds like everybody sitting up here has the same stream of thought in their same direction. Educating the public about what's happening in the town seems to be one of the biggest priorities we need to have outside of the budgetary issues and the improvements and the maintenance. So figuring out how we get to that point is one of the biggest things I can see. When you drive around town, everywhere you go right now, you can see the signs of who people are supporting. So my last thought is just, make sure you're voting for the person you think will do the best job. That's what I've always said when people talk about elections, is who should I vote for? My answer is always do your research, figure out who you think's gonna do the best job, and that's who you should vote for. Don't worry about this issue in particular, that issue. It's an overall look at everything. And I guess that's what I will leave with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Elaine?
Well, I agree. Vote for the experience, the best person, the most qualified person for the job. I, thought long and hard. I feel I still have something to give, and with my experience. But with that being said, if somebody else wins, great. And we need people to step up. If I win, I want the people that ran against me to come to me to learn from me. I'm getting older. I'm getting tired, probably grumpy. Yes, and people need to step up. These people need to learn. They need to know where these funds come from. They need to do their homework, and I would be glad to mentor them into the city council. I want somebody to take over into my position that understands what's going on and knows how difficult it can be, but how rewarding it is. And so I encourage you to ask me questions, come to council meetings, anybody in this room. I'm not in my comfort box. I'm out of my comfort box, but I did it. You can do it too.
Thank you. Steve?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come and allow me to talk, answer questions, introduce myself, and listen to all the other candidates up here. I don't think enough people think that voting is important. I think it's very important. I encourage every single person anywhere in this country to get out and vote. It's so important. So I just want to wish everybody up here the best of luck, and please come out November 4th and vote for your candidate. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan?
And I just want to thank you all for coming. I hope we answered some of your questions. And I would appreciate support on the 4th. However, I agree with you need to vote for the person you feel you're confident with to move the city forward. Because that's basically why we're all here. We're giving up time, we're putting ourselves out there. And it's a little nerve-wracking, I'll be honest. But it's an important job to do. And I do appreciate the age of Doug as far as trying to come out and encouraging others at that age level to start getting into the community and start pressing forward with matters of the community, the ones that are gonna stay. We encourage that, and then you get the younger ones involved, and they're the ones that,
In your dreams.
He's 29. But to get younger people involved, to get the community involvement, communication will help. And maybe with that, we can go forward stronger and help the city out in that way.
Thank you. And Fran?
I've heard a lot of the communication issue, and it's not really an issue. We have a newsletter that goes out. We have a website for the city that is constantly being updated, and it's not being used. Everything we talked about is on our website. It's on our capital plan. Just gotta look for it. So I see you are all very interested in the city. The people that aren't here, that talk to you about not knowing what's going on, get on the web. Look it up, it's there. We're a very transparent board, and I want to keep it that way. I would like you to vote on November 4th. It would be a nice birthday present for me.
Alrighty. Thank you. I think I can reiterate what a lot of you guys have said. You know, you guys are all here because you're passionate about the community. You want to get yourself involved to make things better. And we're so thankful that all of you joined us this evening. We know there's a lot of obligations and different things that pull your time in different directions, and you being here means a lot. We know that you care, you're invested, and I appreciate that greatly. So with that, we encourage you to reach out, ask questions if you have anything. If there was a question you submitted and I did not get a chance to ask it, let me know. I'm happy to be that bridge to maybe get an answer to a more specific question. But more importantly, stay involved in your community, get out and vote, and thank you. Have a good night.
The place was packed tonight, and that is good. That means the citizens of Washington, Iowa are concerned and want to know more about their city and the candidates that are running for city council. And thank you. If you're watching this, you're interested too. So thank you for watching. I want to thank my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, CW Tree Trimming, LLC, Dutch Market, Coffee Talk, and Iowa Technology Systems. I'm your host, John Bain. Oh, make sure to give this episode a like. Follow and subscribe. It's free. And stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.